Yep.
Anissa, can you maybe talk a little bit about, like, you mentioned a lot about the physical toll that is taken on you, this process. Can you talk about the psychological effects of it? Like how, if it's, how this process is affecting you mentally, if at all?
So my mental and my spiritual goes hand in hand. So I'll talk about both.
Right.
Depressing. I am constantly in a depressive state. And because I have I have a personality disorder, so from my childhood, and I have PTSD, and I have all these things. So I'm already prone to depression and anxiety and things like that. And this thing, I'm constantly in a state of depression. I try to find the hope and the happiness, and I do sometimes, but then there's other times I just look up at the sky and I'm like, God, why is this my test? I can't do this. I find myself sometimes when I do that, I find myself getting to this jealous state, and I don't like to be jealous because you don't get blessed when you block your blessings that way. Okay. So I'll find myself like, why does this person get to be pregnant? This person is out here having sex with this person and that person and this person and that person and being irresponsible. And here I am married with a husband trying to have a baby. Like, why are you doing this to me? So I do a lot of self-negative talk. I get very I will say this, like, I think after my third IUI, even though I was supposed to be reconnecting with my husband, that didn't always work. My house was completely chaotic in terms of the way it looked. Like, it wasn't cleaned for those 3 months. I didn't cook for those 3 months. Like, that's how bad. Like, I just sat on my couch and was just like there. Like, I made a video on my Instagram about having like an outer body kind of experience. Like, I literally experienced it. Like, I'm sitting on my couch, but I was watching me sit on my couch.
Wow.
Like, watching life pass me by.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, sis, you got to get together. Go pick up the Bible. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it really, really affects me to the point where I get angry. I do, unfortunately, a lot of the time lash out on my husband. God, he's a saint. But he does get a lot of lashing, and it's not right, and it's not fair. And I do not ever want anyone to ever do that to their spouse, because let me tell you, my husband takes a lot from me, and he takes it on the chin, and he still gets up and he still finds a way to smile. Still finds a way to be kind to me, even when I'm not being kind to him. There are weeks where I feel like I'm a horrible wife. I'm just very mean. And it's not intentional. It's just, I'm hurting inside because I can't do what I need to do when I can't, and I lash out.
Yeah.
So my mental is just all kinds of combobulated.
Girl.
It's combobulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a toll. And this is why this conversation has to be had.
Right.
And I think that's perfect said, like transitioning into like my next thought or question. People like to have opinions, like to say what they want to say when nobody asks them.
Right.
Like, yes. I didn't ask. I don't think I asked.
Your opinions to yourself. Yes.
You understand? And this is the exact reason why people should keep their mouth shut, because you don't know how this is affecting every aspect of me. And everything you just mentioned is literally how you function, like as a human. So if you're having every outlet, you're not feeling good about anything, and you're feeling bad within yourself, and then you have a conscience, so then you start thinking about how it's affecting your husband, so now that's weighing on you. You know what I mean? And how does it affect your outside relationships? Like, so that's what goes on within your household. But what about people that are in your life or in your family, like looking from the outside? Because I saw there were a couple posts like, know what I'm saying?
Oh, you saw that?
Oh, I saw it, girl. But I'm with you.
All right. So I don't have any family support at all. Specifically from my mom. She's very uneducated. Very, very uneducated. She refuses to educate herself. And I just can't. I used to allow her to steal my peace, and I just can't anymore.
Oh, girl, you don't even know.
I can't.
You're touching me in all kinds of ways, girl. I'm telling you.
If you guys knew what I was going through in high school, you would understand why I walked around so mad all the time. Like, I can't. Living with her was hell, pure hell. So I can't. I finally get to a place where, no, sis, you can't take my peace no more. I'm sorry. I've let you do it for 29 years. We're done now. Okay, we're done. So, I try to talk to her. I try to invite her into my life, but then when you get ignorant, you got to go. And right now she's ignorant, so she left. So like some of the things, I remember when I first started trying to have a kid with my husband, I was like, Ma, do you know if your mom, because she lost her mom at 18, do you know if your mom ever had PCOS or da, 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 da? How would I know that? I got kids. She got kids. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So you're being stupid. All right, cool. So moving on. Crazy. She doesn't. Oh, perfect story.
Tell us, girl.
So, when I first got my period, I was 12. And I thought I was dying because I didn't have no conversations with anybody about nothing. So I run out the bathroom, mommy, my vagina's bleeding. Literally, I kid you not, she took a pad, threw it at me and said, go put this on. That was the extent of the conversation. So naturally, I still didn't know like what was going on. I just did what she said.
Right.
And I never got my period for months after that. And had she had decided to have a conversation and tell me like, hey, this is going to happen every 28 days. Right. I would have known to tell her, hey, Ma, I didn't get my period this month. But no, she neglected to have that conversation. And I never got my period for months after that. So I've always been irregular. Always. From the moment I started, I've been irregular. So like, I think maybe a couple months ago, I had this conversation with her and I was like, the way you handled that wasn't right. Like, you should have had the conversation. And I can't make this up. She said, I didn't have those conversations with my mom. So what? I'm like, what? What? Is that your reasoning? Yeah. You don't know how to learn from her mistakes? Oh, but the school was supposed to teach. The school. Who was supposed to teach me about my body? Yeah. I'm like, the ghetto school down the block from my house is supposed to teach me about what's going to happen with my body. Okay. That makes sense to you, lady? Right. I didn't know. And that. Okay. Conversation done. I can't. And it's ignorant to me. I just can't because it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. I know people are going to look at me and be like, oh, well, you should cut your mom some slack. And it's like, no, you don't know my life. I can't cut my mom any slack. I cannot. My mom has chosen to be the way she is. And her clutch is, she always uses, I lost my mom at 18, so I don't know how to do this. Okay, well, when are you going to try to learn for yourself? Learn. Right. Yeah. She used that as a crutch all the time, and I can't. I just can't. Because it's like, Steph, I know you lost your mom when you were young, right? Do you use that as a reason why you can't raise Sky? No, you don't.
So if anything, that makes me want to learn more and do better.
Exactly. And my mom is the complete opposite. And mind you, my mom is 51. Complete opposite. I didn't know how to do this because I didn't have a mom to teach me. So you can't learn by yourself. Like, right. I remember asking, I said, Mom, why didn't you get one of those parenting books? White people do that. Right. White people do that. Like,
oh, you're giving me goosebumps, girl, because
I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, everything that you're saying just coincides with like the
See why I do my pain?
generational ignorance.
Now you see why I'm creating this, because I know it's gonna resonate
yeah,
with my body.
Yeah. This is a generational ignorance and curse that so many people go through. And it's like, talking about menstrual cycles, talking about sex, talking about the birds and the bees, like that's taboo. No, we're not gonna have that discussion because talk to your kids about this. Like,
right. Or how about not having your children know that it's called penis and vagina and having them call it something else?
Exactly.
No, it's your penis and your vagina.
That's right. Exactly. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
I am a preschool teacher, so I teach pre-K. Mm-hmm. And whenever Miss Anissa, can I go to the bathroom? Go to the bathroom. Did you wipe your vagina? Like, I don't ever be like, did you wipe your cookie? Did you wipe your little thing? No. Did you wipe your vagina?
Exactly. Like, it's human anatomy. Like, this is what it is. This is the part of it. And it's that ignorance that's unfortunately passed down to generations. And, the kids are growing up thinking that it's not okay to learn about these things. And this is, it's better to learn it at home than to learn it someplace else where somebody's not going to give it to you the right way, or they're going to hide the truth from you. So
exactly.
Yeah, I know it all too.
Why I taught my daughter that from young is because I don't trust nobody, and I need her to know exactly what she's talking about when she needs. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many reasons why you need to know these are the things you need to protect. And
unfortunately, our people are stuck in a slave mentality.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
A lot of people didn't get what Kanye said when he said we still slaves, but we are.
We are.
We're mentally still this way. And it's like, when you're, like, for instance, when you're Hispanic and you're calling that a race, that's mental stupidity. And that's just like, you're enslaved. Because if you think being Hispanic is a race, I don't know how to help you.
Right.
Because Black Africans were not only dropped off in America. Okay. The first place they went was South America. They didn't even come here first. They went to South America and they went to Canada. Then they came to North America. Well, here, United States. So it's like, educate yourself, please. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Panamanians, Cubans, all of them are Black. You might not have a high percentage, but you're still Black. You have at least one common ancestor. Okay. No, I can't. I can't. I can't. So it's like, talking about our bodies, owning our own businesses, educating ourselves is something that Black people they can't get it together. And I wish we could. Because when you look at communities like the Asians, they don't work for nobody. They work for themselves and their family members. They don't work for white people. They don't work for Black people. They don't work for nobody.
Right.
Same thing with the Jewish people. They don't work for nobody. They work for themselves.
Exactly.
They hire other people, but they will work for themselves before they work for anybody else.
Right.
And I just wish our people would do that, because we are such a strong people. And if we would just unite, get it together and stop, looking at this like it's me versus you kind of.
That's what it is.
No, it's not. And that comes from slavery. Mm-hmm. Because they made us fight each other.
Exactly.
Buck fighting. Like, they made us fight each other to win Master's heart. And it's like, no, I don't want to win Master's heart.
No.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, we need to. That's a whole nother subject.
All right, we
need to unite and take back our communities. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Girl, you touching on a lot. Like, it's unfortunate.
You know what it is? Infertility is more than just babies.
Exactly.
It's racism. It's discrimination. It's finances. It's psychological. It's emotional. It's injustice. It's a bunch of things. It's not just babies. It's also reproductive health. It's not just babies. And people look at it as, oh, it's just your inability to have a child. No, it's my inability to have a child. But guess what? When I do eventually have that child, I'm still going to be infertile. I will still always be infertile.
Exactly.
I'm still.
And what about the health implications that come from that outside of you trying to like
Exactly.
that? It's a whole body. Your entire body is affected by your infertility, by PCOS. Like it's a whole thing. So even when you're trying to solve one trying to go over one hurdle, like you got 10 other hurdles to jump over, and it's just like this is a never ending cycle. So the quicker that we can kind of understand, like you just said, like it goes far beyond having babies and conceiving, the better off we'll be to understand how it impacts people and how other people should just be a little more graceful and a little more understanding of what someone's story is, and not asking really ignorant and insensitive questions when it's not your business. Like, stay out of my business and let me do my thing. I don't need your negativity. I could be bad by myself. I don't need that from you. And let me, you know what I mean? So we have a long way to go. As a society, we have a long way to go.
I really, really get you, because like with me specifically with my PCOS affects my vitamin D levels. So I am constantly have low vitamin D. Like my levels are like 10.
Yeah.
It affects my thyroid. It affects my digestive system. I cannot eat unorganic dairy. I can do gluten. I know a lot of people say when you have PCOS, stay away from gluten. Gluten doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I stay away from it because, it's the fad thing, but I'm coming to realize that I can eat carbs because it doesn't bother me.
Right.
Lose my train of thought.
Okay.
Oh, also brain fog. I get that a lot too.
Girl.
So
anything.
I got it all, girl. I got it all. It's just tragic. So like my vitamin D level, my brain, my thyroid, my weight, it affects everything. And then like when my vitamin D is extremely low and I get lazy. Oh, why are you being lazy? I'm not being lazy. Like,
there you go. Exactly.
My body hurts. I'm tired.
Yes,
no, you're just being lazy. Another thing my mom used to say.
Right.
But getting back to the family, my dad, I don't talk to him really. He does not ask questions, care, nothing. I remember one time he asked me to send him a picture of my stomach so he could pray over it. I did it, and that was the extent of his support, because he doesn't call me to ask me about that. He does not care whether or not he has a grandchild, so I don't know.
Right.
With my stepmom, that's a different story. See, like we were cool and we were talking about it and she was supportive. But then when I told her that I'm going in the route of a midwife and a doula, that's where we split hairs. But once again, don't correct no Black woman in her old age because they ignorant and they don't want to be told they ignorant. So that's how that went. With my sister, my middle sister, the sister that's after me, she tells me to relax, stop stressing, so I can have a baby. That is the most infuriating thing you can tell an infertile person. Just relax. It's infuriating because it's like, what do you think I'm doing?
Exactly.
What do you think I'm doing? My baby sister, she was supportive, but we're not talking right now either. I have a very, very bad family dynamics. But my best friend, David, you remember David, right, Steph?
Mm-hmm.
That's my best friend. He told me to go buy a baby. He was like, just go buy a baby. I'm like, I can't buy a baby, but I mean, it's just like, I could do that. Still's not gonna, my womb is still empty. I want my baby.
Right.
So I don't have any support. People try to get it, but they don't. And the only people that get it are the people that are going through it.
Right.
So I don't have it.
Again, exactly everything you said is why doing something like this is important. Mm-hmm. And I know you say you don't have a YouTube yet, but girl, you should think about it.
I'm getting it.
You should think about it. I mean, sometimes, and Eb and I know this for a fact, it ain't always about being blood. You know what I'm saying? Right. Where you find your support, where you find your comfort, where you find understanding and sensitivity. And, you know, sometimes being able to reach out, and you never know who you'll touch as well, like who's going through the same thing, who's going through it, can't put medical terms to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And look at what you said, since 12.
Yeah.
12 years old, if these conversations were being had, you could have probably started this process faster, sooner.
You know, no, first of all, doctors are just people with degrees. They ain't God. They don't have the last say.
Amen. Say it again.
So at the end of the day, keep your faith.
Oh, I do.
You know, keep that going. You know, like I said, you have us now. Keep doing your thing, and you know, we support you 100%. And your strength is just unmatched. And girl,
it's funny that y'all say that, because I really don't feel strong. I just feel like this is my purpose. Like I feel, you know, we all sit and we struggle with what's our purpose, and then like I just feel like this is mine, because not because I'm going through it, because I see other people go through it, and I see other people get jealous when, like, for instance, when I was in the fertility group, I left it, by the way. When I was in it, a lot of the non-Black people would comment and be like, oh, my friend is pregnant, my cousin's pregnant, my sister's pregnant. How dare they, you know, announce this to me? And I'm just like, why do you have that kind of like envy? I don't get it. I really don't understand that. Like when I see people get pregnant, I'm like, yes, girl, one less person who has to suffer. Right. One less person who's sad. Like, I don't get that, whoa, why you pregnant kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, but sometimes, Anissa, I just want to, I don't mean to cut you off, but I feel like sometimes attacking your purpose is courage, and that takes strength. Like that's something that it doesn't come easy. Like, you know, anybody can have a purpose in life, but like they may not really feel the need or have the strength to attack it and do what they need to do to get to that next level. So that does take strength. You may not see it from the inside, you know, from the inside looking in, but from the outside looking in, that takes a lot of courage and empowerment, and you know, getting up and fighting for what you feel is your purpose every day. That's a lot. It's a lot to handle, and you have to be strong in order to do that. So trust and believe that we see the fact that you embody strength, and and the fact that you just keep going and you keep getting up every day, and you keep trying, and not letting the ignorance and the unwillingness to be educated stop you from getting from your journey is strength again, because mentally you could be knocked down by just ignorance from people, and you're not letting that, you're cutting off those relationships that are just not serving you anymore, and that also is a huge, you know, feat of strength. So it's a lot.
Cutting people off, and I wouldn't advise people to do this. Don't be like me, because cutting people off is very lonely, and I know I have to do it to protect myself, but there are days when I want to call my mom, because she's my mom.
Of course.
And I can't call her because I don't want to deal with the stupidity.
Right.
And it's like, why can't you just be normal? And I know normal is relative, but why can't you just be there? Like, I remember maybe 4 weeks ago, I was at her house with Adrian, my husband. And she was like, oh, I want you to see this doctor in Manhattan because she specializes in PCOS. I'm like, okay. She know nothing else about the doctor. No, not that she specializes in PCOS, excuse me. That they do the embryo creation and all that in the lab there. They don't send it out. That's the extent of what she knew about them. I just want you to go there. You don't know nothing about the doctor. Why am I going there?
Right.
Why am I going there? And she called that support. And it's just like, no, it's not.
Yeah. That's backhanded support. That's like, I'm going to give you some information, make it seem like I'm interested.
Right.
And that's not the kind of support that you need, you know?
Yes. So like my baby sister is pregnant. So, you know, people, i.e. my husband, was expecting me to like be upset. And I'm like, for a split second, I caught myself having envy. And I was like, what are you doing? This is not what you do. You don't get jealous. You don't do this. So I snapped out of it. And then I immediately was happy. And I was like, great, I'm going to be the greatest. I'm going to have an aunt. I'm going to be an aunt. Excuse me. I'm going to be an aunt. It's going to be great. And, you know, I was calling my niece, my daughter, because I raised my baby sister. So she's my daughter too. Mm-hmm. And I remember last 2 weeks ago, we were all, me, my sister, and my mom were on the phone, and I was joking about, you know, once the baby is born, because I'm supposed to be the one to be in the room with her. I'm supposed to pick her up because I have a car. So I was joking and like, yeah, you know, once the baby comes out the hospital, y'all come in here. She's not going over there. She's gonna stay here. Mm-hmm. And they got super serious, and I was just like, it was never that serious. Like my sister was like, oh, I need you and Adrian to take a COVID test. A COVID test? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do I need a COVID test now? Because I'm around you, and whatever you get, she get. It's a girl. Whatever you get, she get. So do I need a COVID test now, or only when you don't need me to be your Uber? Yeah. So we're not talking because of that. And it's just like, I was the only one supporting her no matter what. And for you to just turn around and try to flip things around and try to say I'm trying to kidnap your baby, and no, we can't. No. This is my blood.
Stop it right now.
This is my blood sisters. Like the other one, she called me, oh, you're a nutcase. Why are you trying to steal the baby? It's not your baby. And I'm just like, what? Block.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
People don't seem to understand. It does not matter what your title is to me biologically. Like if you're bringing negativity into my space, and that's not the kind of aura I'm trying to have and I'm trying to create and sustain for myself, we can't do this. It doesn't matter if you're my mother, father, sister, brother, because you're not going to have a bearing on my mental health and my emotional well-being. And then I'm sitting here affected by it and you living your life. That's not what we're going to do. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, how insensitive to you.
Always.
How insensitive to you.
I am. It's funny you say the things that are exactly how I feel, because I am the black sheep of my family. My two sisters have the same dad, and I just have my dad, and I'm the only lighter skinned one, and I'm the only Spanish one, and my mom. You see my mom. She's dark skinned, and I'm always. And I'm not saying she's a colorist, but I'm just like, there's, you know, some issues, because like you know stuff, like I don't have my hair situation. When I lost my hair, my mom was like, oh, hair doesn't make you're beautiful without it. And then like she told my sister, who's right behind me, if your hair is messed up, then you look stupid outside, and if your hair is jacked up, if you don't have no hair, and I'm just like, that's two-sided stories. Like, how are you doing that? Like, and my mom, she, to this day, she doesn't understand why me and my sisters don't get along, why we're not a family. And it's just like, you raised us in two different households.
Right.
I was raised in an abusive household, mental, emotional, and sexual abuse by their father.
Wow.
And my mom said she's going to ask him.
Oh, girl.
She's going to ask him. He beat her ass. Can we curse? I'm sorry. He beat her, and she's gonna ask him if he touched me. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? And I remember, I think I was 28 when I had this conversation. I lashed out. I was like, how dare you? Like, are you crazy? Well, you should have told me. I would have protected you. You couldn't protect your damn self. How was you protecting me?
Yeah.
Oh. What was you protecting me from? You sent me to school with a bruise on my arm and told me to tell them I fell. Hence why you almost lost custody.
Oh no.
Yeah, I've been through it, girls. I've been through it. I guess, I don't know. I've been through it. So it's like, this is why, like, my unfortunately, my children will not have any grandparents on my side. They will not have any maternal grandparents. And Adrian's parents, you know, they are older because he's the baby, and they're in their 70s. So older, so they're not gonna have any grandparents, and it sucks. Yep. Because I had tremendous grandparents. I love my father's parents. They were the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
My kids won't know that. Joy, because my mom and my dad are stupid, and I can say that because that's just my story.
That's your truth.
And you can do that. I know people will be like, oh, well, you believe in Jesus and you should honor thy mother and father. I do honor my mother and father. I just will not live with them. I mean, not live with them. I just will not talk to them because they disturb my peace.
That's right.
They make me not act Christian.
Exactly.
I can't do that. They are harming me. I cannot do that. That's right. They put me in harm's way. Can't do that. Mind you, all of this is how I feel on an everyday basis. Like, my kids are not going to have grandparents. This is what I think about, like, on an everyday basis. These are the things I think about. And it's just, it sucks.
Yeah. It's really that is the biggest thing too, is that, you know, when something starts affecting all these other avenues, and then the people that are supposed to be there to support you through these things are not. And to the fact that it starts to make you think about their dynamic with your children, it's just toxic, girl.
Oh, you say that, and that's funny because I remember when I want a boy first, and I remember I told my mom, oh, I like the name Luca. I'm not calling him that. That's a stupid name. I'm gonna tell him that his mama named him something stupid, and I'm gonna call him something else.
Girl.
Do you understand why I walked around so mad in high school now? Do you get it? Are you starting to get
it? Yeah.
I'm getting it. I'm gonna be, because we're gonna just be all the way real and lay it all out on the table. When I was asking Eb if she remembered you, I touched on that. I touched on that. I said, you know, unfortunately, like, one of my main memory of Anissa is, like, I always felt like she was angry. You know, like, I got that, you know, and we were never close, but we talked, and I knew you were going through something, like, outside of school. And I know, because I know what it's like to go through things, you know, similar family dynamics. So I always felt that from you. And it's just crazy because we're talking 12 years later, 30 years old, from high school. Changed. This is what I'm saying. Girl, thank you.
Oh, and when we were in 11th grade and I disappeared for the year, my mom put me in an institution.
Oh my gosh, girl. Goodness.
I was going because I was in an institution. So it's like, oh, and then she, like, it's just like, she wonders why I am the way I am with her. I try, but I don't want to be around you.
I know I can speak for Steph too. Like, we extend our hearts to you. Like, that's a heavy burden to bear every single day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so that's where I feel, Anissa, that's where your strength comes from. Like, come on, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the fact that you're here with us today, being as open and honest as you possibly can be. That's, you know, it takes a certain kind of strength to be able to do that. And that vulnerability too is also, like, you know, you're being vulnerable right now, and you're being, you know, that it takes, you're being vulnerable every time you post online like that. That's a lot of strength too. So, you know, we respect it. We respect you, and you know, we really wish you the best, Anissa, honestly.
I was honestly afraid to do this because I know this is going to be YouTube. Yeah, because so, like, one of my blog posts, I talked about, you know, that 3-month period that I took where I wasn't necessarily a good wife, and I wrote a blog about it. And somebody else we went to high school with, but she was in the class under us. Candace, she shared it to her money business people, all Black females, I might add. And the responses that were given were bananas, and not in a good way.
It's official. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Ding. Sistas Bonafide.